It wants to have the court restrain the authorities, whether it's Securities and Exchange Commission or the Bank of Ghana, from interfering. And then it wants damages plus legal fees paid as well. About 8 or 9 things that is looking for. If you look through what is asked so far, which ones do you think that, no, you should stay away from that?
Of course, anybody can go to court and should go to court and ask for anything it feels obliged to. My humble opinion, however, is it starts the statement of claim with matters of capacity. And I have some records I will want to read for clarity. The claim seems to suggest that the object of the Bank of Ghana, for example, is only as it pertains to banking and credit system. Which I felt was perhaps inconclusive, to say the least, because when you look at the Bank of Ghana's Act, that's at 612. The object of Bank of Ghana, for example, says that the primary objective of the Bank of Ghana is to maintain stability in the general level of prices. Now, I put emphasis on the general level of prices. It goes on to say, without prejudice to one, the bank shall support the general economic policy of the government and promote economic growth and effective and efficient operations of the banking and credit system in the country, as it says. Now, in terms of capacity of BOG, is it to say that the BOG, in all the issue of notices for which it claims the claim of Men's Gold is to say it breaches right, per this object, which is to promote the general economic policy, can we not say that in the minds of the regulator it gave those notices to what it felt that public should be warned of, because it's actually under its remit to give, as it were, general economic policy? And so when it comes to those claims on the capacity of the BOG to have issued those notices, I'm sure the court will determine the merit as it is. But if you read the object of BOG, can you say that that was an overreach? I'm sure the court will reach a conclusion. When you come to the Security and Exchange Commissions as well, Act 929, it says that the object of the commission is to regulate and promote the growth and development of efficient, fair, and transparent securities market in which investors and the integrity of the market are protected. Section 3 says to achieve the object of the commission, and I go specifically to 3C II, which says that II says commodities and futures exchange. The III says securities depositories. Now, these are quite clear in the Act. I am not a lawyer, and so I'm sure you get the lawyers to give you the clarity. But from a layman's point of view, when I read this, it looks like it's pretty obvious what the scope of the Security and Exchange Commission is. Now, when you go to the further in the interpretation part of that, it says that dealing in securities means whether as principal or agent, making or offering to make with a person, or inducing or attempting to induce a person to enter into or to offer to enter into an agreement for or with a view of acquiring, disposing of, subscribing or underwriting a securities. We've already explained what a securities is. And so the point is, in terms of capacity of those two agencies, was it an overreach? My humble opinion would be perhaps not, but the court will determine. Now, when you look at paragraph 25 of the statement of claim, which is the heart, in my humble opinion, of his whole case, which is to say that the business of Men's Gold, however, is basically contracting on contracting to buy gold, basically. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the text here. But 25 is quite the heart of what it determines its business to be. When you look at that definition, that would seem like a classic definition of what a trading activity is. You know, but again, these are matters the court will determine. But if even we grant, assuming without granting, that the business of Men's Gold is a bullion service and has no direct supervisory powers of BOG or Security and Exchange Commission. The question is, what does other civilized countries do? when you take the London bullion market, for example, when you go to section 12, it's a whole pack on gold trade and bullion services. It will tell you that, so when you look at, it says that regulator, and it goes on to say the Bank of England still maintains close links with the market for gold and is a major custodian of gold ownership by many of the world's central banks, the UK government and certain commercial firms. The Bank of England publishes, it goes on to say, but it says Financial Markets Act 2012 gives Financial Control Authority some powers over that. And so the interpretation of men's gold, my understanding and is that they have said that as it stands now, commodities trading is not regulated. And so it's neither SEC nor the Bank of Ghana.
The Bank of Ghana has a right to regulate.
But well, let's leave the court to determine. But that is a position I find a bit difficult to accept. But that's my humble opinion. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. So let's look at the actions of the Securities and Exchange Commission and its impact on the customers now. So if you look at the case of DKM, many believe that because the Bank of Ghana stepped in and shut the business, the company wasn't able to continue its investment to get the dividends to pay its customers, and it led to the chaos. And we are seeing the same with Men's Gold. So if you listen to the press conference, the gentleman who spoke on their behalf said that at the point they were asked to hold on with the operations, that period, for example, people whose investment were there at that period, they may not get the yields they are supposed to get because there was a halt in the operations at that point. And then, as we speak now, we don't know when this issue will be sorted for this embargo to be lifted. What does that mean to the customers who have investors there on their dividends and their principal? Okay.
I think we had the SEC yesterday clarifying that their, as it were, their injunction on the business of Men's Gold was on that of new business. And so the company was mandated to pay old clients, of which they have said today that they would schedule in order to pay people who have maturing investment or whatever you call it. Now, two questions are coming out. The very first one is the econometrics of it, to say that, well, for 5 years we paid everybody and no one complained, and so this is rather forcing the business to go down. My reaction to that would be, in every business, including that which is even deemed unsustainable, that is, if we determine it to be a Ponzi, if. Now, the first part of it is that there is a life cycle. Every business goes through a life cycle. And so the fact that I introduce a product doesn't mean the product falls on day one. It goes through a cycle. Now, if indeed the classic understanding of a Ponzi is a pyramid, and we actually call it a pyramidal scheme, and so it grows from the base, and the base sustains the repayment until it can't at the middle. And so the question is, it is not, the econometrics is not determined by whether you've had issues in the past or not. The econometrics is determined on whether your cash flows as you generate can pay all your obligations as it stands. And so I want to clarify that, because now people would jump to say that these regulatory umpires or these regulatory cleanup, if you call it,
is the reason why they may not get them.
But I guess the fundamental question is there sustainability and resilience in the business? That is a question we should be asking. Is the business as it stands now resilient, and is it sustainable? If we find that answer to be yes, then it would be injustice to close it down. It would mean that, yes, we would have to find a means of keeping it. But if we determine it to be unsustainable and a Ponzi and has no sense of resilience, then the impact on the economy, it's too huge to keep it alive, irrespective of where it is in the growth cycle. Because if it's unsustainable, it's going to collapse anyway. And so those are my impressions on whether what is going on rather forces the collapse, or in itself it was on a time bomb, and so it has to be saved from itself.
Okay.
Those are the matters
Okay. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Samuel Ocho. He's a financial analyst. We'll move on to some other stories. And the Bank of Ghana has challenged the capacity of the General Jurisdiction Court hearing the case where a shareholder of Unibank, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, is seeking to reclaim the bank. Now, the central bank on August 1st this year collapsed Unibank along with 4 other banks on grounds of insolvency. In a letter to the Chief Justice, the lawyers of the Bank of Ghana, led by Frank Davis, challenged the capacity of the court and indicated that the case must be heard by a commercial court. My colleague Fred Tetajabano explains.
This case has to do with a suit filed by 3 shareholders of Unibank, which included Dr. Dufo, the owner of the bank. They were challenging the legality of the Bank of Ghana's action of taking the Unibank and adding it to other banks to make the consolidated bank. The case was called 2 days ago, but as of 2 days ago, when the case was called, the lawyers of the BOG were not available for the case to commence. So it was adjourned to today. Today, when the case was called, something very interesting happened, and it was that lawyers of the BOG had written to the Chief Justice saying that they were not comfortable with the court which was hearing the case. This court is a general jurisdiction court. It's a division of the High Court. They are saying that this particular court does not have the capacity to hear the case. So they are asking the Chief Justice, or we're asking the Chief Justice, to change this court. They made this known in court after the case was called. So the lawyers of the applicants, which had people from the chambers of Dr. Atuguba and Chachuchi Kata representing them, decided to object to this particular letter written by the lawyers of BOG, the lawyers of BOG. According to them, the process or the way the lawyers of the BOG went about this was wrong. They believe that the administrative process which the lawyers of the BOG chose to go was wrong. They were asking that the lawyers of the BOG use the legal process, meaning that they had to file a motion in courts challenging the capacity of the court. After some initial back and forth on the issue, the judge, Daniel Mensah, made a decision. His decision was that he believed that there should be a middle ground to this. So he decided to adjourn the case to the 17th of October to give an opportunity to the Chief Justice to respond to the letter. So we are now expecting the Chief Justice to respond to the letter and give directions as to how the case should proceed. Outside that, lawyers of the BOG were satisfied with this adjournment. Lawyers for the Unibank, led by Chachuchi Kata, were not so excited about it, but then they had to accept the ruling of the judge. So as it stands now, the case stands adjourned to the 17th of October, where we'll know how the case will proceed going forward.
Now, the chairman of Parliament's Communications Committee, Kennedy Japan, is blaming Communications Minister Esla Osu-Kufu over the current controversy surrounding the digital terrestrial television migration platform and the alleged involvement of StarTimes. His comments follow a crucial meeting with the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA, today, which was almost disrupted by a brawl between chairman of the committee and Ningo Pram-Pram MP Samuel Nati George. My colleague Duke Mensah has more.
The meeting of the Communications Committee with GIBA began on a topsy-turvy note. A misunderstanding and near fisticuff between chairman of the committee, Kennedy Japan, and Ningo Pram-Pram MP Sam George disrupted the meeting and caused its suspension temporarily. MP for Kumbungu and member of the committee, Ras Mubarak, who was present during the brawl, captured proceedings as follows.
There was an embarrassing spectacle that should never have happened in a committee meeting, particularly a committee of parliament. And as most regrettable as it is, particularly when we had visitors, members of GIBA attending upon the meeting, we will try and iron out those things.
After the meeting, which lasted for more than 2 hours, the feuding parties emerged in a conciliatory manner to address the press.
So I've apologized to him. Then I also questioned, why is it that I'm the chairman of the committee, you hear something like this, you don't tell me, say, well, you don't pick your phone sometimes, Chairman. And I'm saying, you are not the woman, so I will not I will not pick you. So he also apologized to me. And so initially, yes, I confronted him because I was really furious of yesterday because of previous decision we had all taken. That is why it happened. But honestly, after we came back, we had a fruitful discussion. It wasn't physical. And he's here. He will tell you if it's physical. Look, I'm a black belt. If it's physical, you would have seen at least a mark. You would have seen a mark. No.
And going forward, Giba is meeting with the ministry this afternoon. We would also be having further meetings with other stakeholders like NCA and the ministry to understand fully this matter. And as a committee, exercise our oversight responsibility. So anybody who says there was a fiscal confrontation, I am the son of a fisherman, and so if he had come with his black belt, he would have met a fisherman's son. So
let's say that I have a slip lip. All this problem happened because of the minister. I'll tell you like this, don't push me.
Chairman, it's okay.
Officials of Giba, led by Dr. Crystal Jirako, also expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the meeting.
We think our feeling from the committee is that we are working together in the interest of Ghana. We will meet the minister. We also believe from the interactions that the minister was not taking any position against ourselves. We need to work together. The whole thing is so technical. So we have agreed to meet with the minister. We are believing that working together, we will all do what is right for the country.
Following yesterday's meeting between the Finance Committee and an IMF delegation, the controversial issue of whether the Sino-Hydro deal amounts to a barter arrangement or a loan has been resurrected. According to MP for Bantama and member of the committee, the IMF confirmed that the deal does not amount to a loan.
And the bottom line is that it is not a loan. It's a framework. It's some kind of financial arrangement to be able to get away. Better, if you want to put it. Give us good roads, give us good infrastructure, and in the exchange, we'll escrow some money from our bauxite, and then we'll give it to you. Period. That's it. And there's no federal guarantee. I mean, still guarantee in terms of government saying that this is what it is. I'm giving you that sovereign guarantee. And since we don't have that, you can't describe it. So it looks like a loan. Of course, for us, the details were itemized so that we can be transparent. There's nothing to hide. If you are paying for arrangement fee, processing fee, whatever fees there were, we disclose all of them so that. But
Minority Chief of Muntaka Mubarak disagrees.
I can also tell you that they've also responded to a letter that we wrote telling us that it is going to be a loan. So let's see what the official communication will be, because these are things that you are hearing that are not official. But I can also tell you that they wrote in response to the letter that we wrote. So let's wait and see how it's going to be communicated officially.
So away from the mechanics and the technicalities involved in the various committee works that we've witnessed today, especially with regards to the work of the Communications Committee of the House, on the floor of the House, the Finance Committee has also laid its report concerning some two loans, one on the Ghana Commercial Agricultural Project and the other on the Agric Mechanization Project. The House is supposed to rise tomorrow, Friday, with regards to its recall for an emergency sitting. We hope that some of these financial agreements will be ratified by the House before it finally rises tomorrow, to come back on the 30th of October for full work on the third meeting of the second session of the 7th Parliament. From the precincts of Parliament, I am Duke Mentor Poku for City News.
After a meeting between the government represented by the Communication Ministry, the executives of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA, the parties have agreed to engage further to deliberate on the implementation of the Digital Terrestrial Television Project. They have agreed to maintain Central Digital Transmission Company Limited as managers of the infrastructure of the DTT project.
The parties have agreed to continue with engagements on the project as the project proceeds. The next meeting of these stakeholders is scheduled to take place within the next 4 weeks. The stakeholders at the meeting were the Ministry of Communication, the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Finance, the National Media Commission, the National Communication Authority, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Film Producers Association of Ghana, the Ghana Academy of Film and Television Arts, the Ghana Actors Guild, NAFTI, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Ghana Institute of Engineering, KNET Limited, and ILC Consultants. We're grateful to stakeholders and to yourselves for being around for today's meeting.
You're still watching the City Newsroom on City TV. I am Umaru Sandamadu, and tonight I'm here with
Vivian Kai Loco.
When we come back, Nigerian traders have petitioned ECOWAS over fracas between them and local business owners here in Ghana.
Bless you with body. We brought you not one, not two, but three of the city's biggest lockdowns on a craft one and only funky and fresh jam. This time, may the fourth be with you as the Body Beach Hotel at 97.3 CTFM present the fourth edition of Funky and Fresh on Friday, 28 September 2018. Funky and Fresh, the fourth edition with DJ Gaddafi, will be another one to remember as the whole capital comes to a standstill as we boogie and have a blast till you crash. It's great cocktails, excellent music mix, and dancing feet to make your Friday night come alive. Book your place and make reservations now. Call 0544-431-213. Funky and Fresh is powered by Labadi Beach Hotel and 97.3 CTFM and sponsored by Big Ideas Consult, Bacardi, Voyage is a Freak, and Let's Be Seated.
City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like GoTV and StarTimes box. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back to the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. I'm here with
Umaru Sanda Amado. Let's go to Nigeria now, Vivian.
Yes. And some Nigerians have petitioned the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, over what they describe as intimidation of Nigerian business owners in Ghana. The group staged a demonstration in Abuja last Monday alleging victimization of their friends and relatives in Ghana. According to them, Ghanaian authorities have so far closed some 400 shops belonging to their compatriots.
Now, the Punch newspaper in Nigeria reported that the protesters handed over a petition to the ECOWAS Secretariat in Abuja asking it to intervene within 1 week. In July this year, the Ministry of Trade and Industry ordered non-Ghanaians in the retail trade to leave the country, but later suspended the directive. Subsequently, there were some skirmishes at Swami Magazine in Kumasi in the Ashanti region as local retailers vowed to evict foreigners who operate within the enclave. Here is a spokesperson of the group, as the Nigerian protesters speaking.
If you are a foreigner in Ghana, unless you have a minimum capital of about $1 million, listen to me, I'm not saying 1 million cedi, I'm not saying 1 million naira. $1 million, you cannot do business in Ghana. That is if you are a foreigner. And we are saying that Nigerians in Ghana, are they foreigners? No. Hello? No. Nigerians in Ghana, are they foreigners? No. Are Ghanaians in Nigeria being maltreated in this way? No. Did we make any law in Nigeria? No. We have many ECOWAS citizens living in Nigeria. Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Ghana, Togo, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Gambia, Mali. They are all here living peacefully. They are living peacefully. Many African countries are also living here doing businesses. Many Senegalese have relocated to Nigeria and they are sewing clothes. Have we harassed any of them? No. When they make their money, do we slap them? No. Do we collect it from them? No. Why did Ghana sign the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of persons, free movement of goods, free movement of services? Number one. Number two, why did Ghana, were you pushed, were you forced to sign the protocol on the rights of establishment? No. Were you forced, were you sleeping when you signed the protocol on rights of residents? No. All of these protocols were signed by Ghanaian authorities. Why must they be flouting it with their national domestic laws? ECOWAS is a supranational entity, and we stand by ECOWAS, and we stand by regional integration.
Now, following City News' report on school children at Weija who are compelled to attend school by canoe in order to avoid hours of trekking, the Municipal Chief Executive of Weija, Patrick Como, says plans are underway to construct a bridge to end the ordeal of these school children.
For a lot of children at Weija, a suburb of Accra, riding on a canoe to school is as normal as hopping on a school bus. Weija is a small town in the Ga-South municipality and is very famous for the dam which was constructed over the Dainsu River in 1978. Although there hasn't been any recent casualties in the area from the canoe ride, parents are still worried about the safety of their children.
Misro papa anti omu ponsa ya mitumi ba tina mi twa omu ansana mi hu se omu ba ansana mi di omu kofi omu cross omu ji 1 CD each person anti nipa 4 no 4 CD Ghana in and out by 8 CDs mi so ala mi ye no ska mi ma akwara no almost 3 months enye ska kituwa ti esra baino ombaye bridge maya waha.
The 3-week-old municipal chief executive for the area indicated that his outfit is working to address the situation soon.
I believe this situation has been persistent for quite a very long time. And I think 3 weeks to my confirmation as a municipal chief executive, I got a report of the situation getting worse because the dam was being spilled. So I took the opportunity to go there to have a first-hand opportunity to see what is really happening. And I did promise them that when God makes everything possible for me to be confirmed, I will come in to donate some life jackets as a starter. And then, of course, we'll look into the future and long-term solution for the area. Just last week, we went there to fulfill that promise. And I also told them that I'm in talks with Wexenhausen to see how far best we can have a bridge constructed on the river so as to mitigate this current situation that we're having. Because, you know, the life of those cases are dear to the nation. And I believe in the short possible time, actions will be taken. And then we're going to have a bridge which will be linking the two community, which will be more trouble not only for the students, but we'll have vehicles also using it as well. That will even cut the traffic that you have to go through Malam Junction. So we're looking forward to having something very nice for them in the coming days.
Reporting for City News here at the new Weija extension of the Dainsu River, where school children like little Ebenezer here go through a daily ordeal of crossing a river on a canoe. My name is Michael Obuju.
Now, the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, has suspended its indefinite sit-down strike after a meeting among representatives from all local chapters.
Now, the association embarked on the strike action to demand conditions of service similar to their counterparts in public universities. At a press briefing, President of TUTAG, Dr. Solomon Kilson, revealed that the decision is as a result of the government's assurance to provide their demands.
Weeks after the declaration of the strike, TUTAG has suspended the action on condition that government provides them with a scheme of service by 2nd October this year. Present at the meeting were representatives from local chapters of TUTAG who maintained their stance for government to migrate them into existing conditions of service of public universities. They, however, clarified not to entertain any unnecessary delay of their migration. Addressing the press after the meeting, National President of TUTAG, Dr. Solomon Kilson, attributed the suspension of the strike to government's assured commitment in meeting their demands.
TUTAG met with the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations on 20th September 2018. In attendance were the Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and the National Council for Tertiary Education. At the said meeting, a communique was issued and some conditions were given. National Council for Tertiary Education has met one of the conditions of providing TUTAG with a schedule and guidelines for the staff audit.
Meanwhile, students of the Accra Technical University expressed joy about the development.
In fact, when we initially had the information that the lecturers were going on a sit-down strike, it wasn't a good message to we, the students as a whole. Not personally to myself, but like to the entire students. I mean, the populace of all the 10 technical universities that were also affected. And to our utmost surprise for the TUTAG to have also reiterated their statement of coming back to the classroom is it's a big and a laudable one. We want to give them a maximum applause for that.
For now, we feel okay about it because at first, these whole things were supposed to cause a lot of problems for the students because we just came to school, we had no handouts, we didn't really know what we were going to learn. Okay, but even if we learned or not, we were still going to write exams based on what they were.
PR of the SRC of Accra Technical University, Daniel Yevuga, however, demands TUTAG puts in place measures to make up for the lost academic time.
I would suggest that they drag our academic calendar forward a bit so that they can favor us in a way that whatever we've lost, we can recover.
In his response, National President of TUTAG, Dr. Solomon Kilson, assured that the association has put in place measures to ensure that students are not affected academically due to the strike.
Teachers are going to step up, and even where necessary, we will increase the number of hours we contact the students. Even we can meet students on weekend where necessary and possible.
While the lecturers have suspended their strike action on condition that their scheme of service is provided by the 2nd of October, students are happy about the situation. Reporting for City News, Hansen Ajeman.
Now, it has emerged that private developers have acquired over 200 acres of the buffer zone at Dansoman for various building projects. Residents they are predicting danger if government does not intervene to halt what is currently happening. Now, the area popularly called Otojo serves as a channel and buffer zone for water collected from most drains in Ablekuma West, Gan Central, and Weija environs. What is the ordeal of residents there? There is more in the following report.
Ordinarily, this stretch should have lived its natural vegetation, but mansions are rapidly springing up here. Houses here are owned by the affluent, and they are grabbing large portions of this buffer zone. The Otojo Lagoon serves as a buffer zone and a holding area for collected water from Dansoman, Awoshi, McCarthy Hill, Kwashiman, Weija, and its environs. Kwesi Adaipoku has lived in Dansoman for over 30 years and has seen developments here.
Probably 15, 20 years back, you couldn't even step in this area. I mean, the last point that you could get to was the junction at the Ham School junction. You know, you couldn't come down. So many of the people who settled here early were just built uncompleted and left it for so many years. And then when they saw the area was being developed, they just came back and then finished up their places. It was a bush and water and everything, like very swampy. The best materials for filling is the gravel and laterite and all that, but it's very expensive. So people use the waste products, like when buildings are broken down, when excavations are done somewhere, they bring the waste materials, fill here, and then they later use the laterite to fill up.
Who is to blame at a time when there's a national buffer zone policy? It is surprising to blame encroachment on government.
If the government or the state authorities fail to plan and develop a city as it should be, these are some of the things that happen. People bring up the development themselves, because even from the Ham and even Karl-Rindorf Park that you are talking about, much of the area has been developed by people themselves. I mean, when it comes to the roads, the road network, the drainages, I mean, most of it was done by individuals themselves.
The lagoon is a buffer zone and a conduit to the sea from all its tributaries. Thus, any obstruction of the lagoon causes water from upstream to accumulate, leading to heavy flooding. If their containments are inadequate, the water will overflow, and this would be disastrous. For residents like Nana Ekuabuaje, anytime the clouds gather, they get scared.
Sometimes we buy my 2 free hotel. Tinsio to a higher pie, old mind that them a toss I just a pejano. Edni Quincy may be any fear, now may I a mobile area has seen. A rat them by a sissimu, Yakita more frank to any way penny me back. Me money a me and son. Your tenant phone so I ain't yes, I know moon and swap about has seen. Teria had ye, in soon to a cousin higher near Bobby or tea, any a 10 moon crying a higher kissing.
Prophet Ezekiel Hyde's narrative is no different.
Whenever it rains, this area become flooded, you know, and our church is just at the side there. When it rains, sometimes the water used to come at the waist level.
It seems the activities of developers here, if not contained, may cause a disaster. The signs are clear. But for Francis Tete, because their hands are tied, they are managing the situation themselves. This is one of the many houses that gets flooded anytime it rains in this part of Dansoman. So much so that the landlord has to hire water pump services to drain the water. However, the water stays because drains here are choked. How come all these things are outside? I mean, is it because of the flooding?
Yes, because of the flooding. That's why all these things are spoiled. So we command them to bring it down here. No, we are not scared. We are not scared at all.
It is a wetland, and obviously, you see, it has eaten portions of the building, and you are sleeping in. You are not scared that one day you'll be there and everything will collapse on you?
We are not scared because the building is strong. It's an old building. It's not this type of new building that can collapse easily.
Developers have been asked to stop work, but we are told they work at night. This caretaker who was about to comment on it was just told by his boss not to comment.
Hello.
Over 200 acres of this buffer zone have been sold to private developers. This comes at a time when there's a national buffer zone policy. Authorities have warned developers to discontinue projects here, but they do so at midnight. My name is Kojo Ajman, reporting for City Newsroom.
You're still watching the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailuk. I'm here with
Umar Rusanda Amadou.
We'll bring you more stories when we return. Don't go away.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
And his goals and aims and ambitions, including like marital life or children. You should know that from the beginning. And when you have a deep conversation, you should be able to sense the vibe or the energy, but you should have that conversation so that you know what you're going in for. And then you advise yourself upon what you want and what the person wants.
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 9 p.m.
Welcome back to the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailuk. I'm here with
Umar Rusanda Amadou.
Now, official folk are testing the Greater Accra region at bemoan the failure of previous governments to construct a London beach in the area.
According to the residents, they incur high costs to fix their canoes whenever high tides set in. The fishermen expressed their frustration to City News after a meeting with the Member of Parliament for Lejokuku, Dr. Bernard Oku-Boy. There is more in the following report by Philip Nilati.
Earmarked for the London beach at Teshi is engulfed with filth. A number of the canoes, which have been destroyed by high tides, are out of use. Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Elizabeth Na Afulekwe, last year told the Appointment Committee of Parliament that a total of 14 landing beaches will be constructed in areas such as Teshi, Jamestown, Crowell, Keta, among others. But fisherfolk in Teshi contend that the promise by government to construct the landing beach has delayed.
Our river, the river is a small river. The work, you must work from the hand fishermen. When you go there, you see the thing is the small project. Why they didn't do? The former MPs, deputy fishing minister, he didn't do anything for him. So that's why I beg our MP, new currency, Dr. Oku-Boy, say he will fight for him. From President Atami side, when we talk anything, we go to the radio station, we talk, we have press conference, anything, nothing going on.
Every time or any time when any big rain come like this, it spoil our boat and the nets. So we beg the government to help us to make our landing beach. It's about so many years past ago, but now how we invite our Dr. Oku-Boy to today, we are here to beg him to see the president for him to help us for the landing beach.
The Assistant Secretary for the Teshi Lejakuku fishermen, Nisowa Ochrekasa, says their demand for the landing beach has been unsuccessful for the past 20 years.
Spoil. And because of that, if this landing beach is there, the landing beach will stop the wave. Then when you are coming, you come smoothly, and then the number two, because there's no landing beach, we have to send our canoes to anchor it on the sea. When you are going to take it, you have to swim before you go and take it and bring it before you come and pick the cruise and before you go to the. And when something like a wave or the sea become a little rough, all our canoes and our fishing gears also will spoil. This is why we are asking for the landing beach about 20 years ago.
For his part, MP for Lejakuku, Dr. Bernard Okuboy, noted that government is working assiduously to commence the construction of the landing beach.
Fortunately for us, like I said, we were captured in the manifesto as one of 12 communities to benefit. There's going to be phase one, the first 4 communities or so who will benefit from the project, and luckily Teshi has been captured. As a member of parliament of this community, I've been in close contact with the Minister for Fisheries, because it's the ministry that is handling the project. And I know the ministry has shown me documents to show that they've done preparatory work, feasibility studies. What is left now is the facility. That's the money from whichever country or source of fund that will be used to finance the project. So that is the stage in which they are now. And the minister has assured me that all the processes are being pursued vigorously, and that she wished they could start tomorrow bypassing the processes. But when you do that, you breach many laws, like the Procurement Act and the Public PPA Act. They need to follow all the provisions, and that's why we're having time. It can be as simple as $3 million. It can be as complex as maybe $20 million.
Behind me are some fishermen here at Teshi trying to dock their canoes, which is impossible. For this reason, they are asking government to develop this space into a landing beach, which will save them a lot of cost when the high tides set in. For City News, Philip Ni Latte.
Now, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister has directed Operation Vanguard to destroy any equipment used by illegal miners who are still operating. According to the Western Forward Operating Base of the task force, some illegal miners have acquired equipment that can remote control the movement of excavators they seize, thereby making it difficult to move such machines from the site.
Now, addressing this concern raised by the Superintendent Robert Kobio, the second in command of the Western FOB of the Operation Vanguard, while on a working visit in the Western region, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources said the destruction of such equipment would deter illegal miners.
It will serve as a signal to them, yes, and it will deter them from putting such equipment into the machines, so that they may not even attempt going to the field at all. When we do 1, 2, 3, if I have the opportunity to go out with you, such machines, some of them will be bent, so that they learn from that. We burn 1, 2, 3. Next time they will not put any implement to to stampede our way.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the City Newsroom. Log on to our website, CitiNewsroom.com, for more stories. My name is Vivian Kai.
And I am Umaru Sandawada. Thank you for watching.